What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of F1 Fantasy Pole Position. It is Monday, September 15th. My name is Ewan. On today's episode, I'm going to get into my Azerbaijan Grand Prix transfer targets because it is race week and we are going around the streets of Baku this weekend. Very excited to have F1 back. And yeah, get into some 4A possibilities, 3A heavy possibilities, all that fun stuff. Don't forget to check out my team selection that I did last week. That's going to be up here in the corner right there. So you would not have missed that episode if you are liking videos and subscribing to the YouTube channel. So help me out. If you are watching this video and I am below 100 likes, help me out. Give me that thumbs up. I'm shooting for 100 likes on every video for the remainder of the season. And if you really like what you see around the F1 Fantasy Pole Position paddock, don't forget to sign up for my Patreon or my YouTube membership program for early access to videos like this, 2026 prize leagues coming around the corner, and exclusive episodes along with access to my Discord. But let's get into some transfer targets. Right off the bat here, no transfer targets, so apologies for that, but this was a viewer suggestion, 5A possibilities, and while intriguing, I'm not entirely sure how much of a chance most of us have to get to these 5A possibilities. So on the screen here, if you're listening on the podcast side, I have 4 teams along with their cost at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix and then their cost at the Brazilian Grand Prix in a few races' time. Disclaimer, that is some red flag loosey-goosey math by me, so take that as you will for the accuracy portion of it. But the 4 teams on the screen here, I'll go through them one by one, going up in price. So Red Bull, Mercedes, Piastri, Russell, Leclerc with 2 bottom-of-the-barrel assets, 4.5 million drivers in F1 Fantasy, which right now is Pierre Gasly and Franco Colapinto. That's going to be 137.2 million at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. By the time we get to Brazil, that's going to be 140 million. As you can see above my head right now, I'm at 130.3 million. So I am almost 7 million off that, 6.9 million off of that. So I am way, way behind that marker, and this is the bottom asset for 5A possibilities. Next up here is McLaren, Mercedes, Russell, Leclerc, Hamilton. So no McLaren drivers, no Max Verstappen, along with 2 bottom-of-the-barrel assets as well, 139.2 million. And then at Brazil, it's going to be at about 140.9. Like I said, I was doing the statistics, like the Ferrari boys have kind of gone down. Lewis Hamilton's gone down 1 million. Charles Leclerc's gone down over 2 million this season. So trying to work that into how much they're going to rise or fall over the next few races was a little bit of, like I said, loosey-goosey math by me, as is typical for F1 Fantasy Pole Position. Next up is Ferrari Red Bull with Piastri, Russell, Leclerc, and 2 bottom-of-the-barrel assets. 141.4 million for Baku, and it'll be 144.2 million for the Brazil Grand Prix. And then the tippy top, the tier that I don't think any of us will be able to get to, it's 147.2 million right now, and that's McLaren, Ferrari, Piastri, Russell, Leclerc, and 2 bottom-of-the-barrel assets. 147.2 million. We are 16 races into the season, so you're looking at 3 million rise per race. I don't think anyone's gotten that fortunate or planned that well to be able to afford a squad like that, and that's going to be 150 million at the Brazilian Grand Prix, according to my loosey-goosey math calculations. So if 5A was in the back of your mind, for me, I don't think I'm going to be able to get there at any point this season. I mean, I'd have to go up to, 2.5 million over the next few races to even afford that bottom team with Red Bull, Mercedes, Piastri, Russell, Leclerc, and 2 bottom-of-the-barrel assets. So I don't think it's going to be for me, but let me know in the comments below, are you anywhere near any of these budget cost cap areas that you could possibly be thinking about 5A by the end of the season? Maybe it's not practical, but it was a fun thought exercise to kind of just go through it and see, like, I might be SOL in this department and just be looking to upgrade 4A for the remainder of the season. As we move on here, transfer targets has officially started with Franco Colapinto, 4.5 million, 11.8% of the global top 500 have him. Points per race, 5.5. He's got 11 points in the Netherlands, 0 points in Italy. I know that says 9 on the screen, but that's just a typo by me. So he's been doing okay. The problem is that Franco needs 2 points for a good price rise and 6 points for a great price rise in F1 Fantasy this weekend in Baku. And while that is attainable, I mean, he's averaged 5.5 points per race over the last 2. He scored 11 points in the Netherlands. You can kind of see here that in like 4 of the last 5 races, he scored less than 0 or less than 0 points, which is not encouraging at all. And even if he scores 6 points to get a great price rise, aren't you just gonna have to take him out for the Singapore Grand Prix? Because Alpine backmarker qualifying low, like the vibes are not good, but this is where he scored his first points in F1 when Williams had a double points finish. So there is a little bit of like track familiarity to that. It's just, I know a lot of people are thinking that Colapinto is an answer to getting to 4A. If you can get to Colapinto, then you can get to Gasly, right? And if you only need one 4.5 million asset to upgrade to like a 4A heavy, or like with an Albon or Leclerc and then like Bortoleto and Bearman and stuff like that, then I would just go with Pierre Gasly. But Franco Colapinto is in a lot of teams' thoughts right now. The only reason he's in the transfer targets over Pierre Gasly is because he has an easier rise to a great price rise. However, like I'm saying right now, I'm not sure if that's actually in our best interest because it's almost like booking a transfer out for the Singapore Grand Prix. Next up is Gabriel Bortoleto. He's a lot more popular than Franco Colapinto. He's 5.7 million and 74.4% of the global top 500. Over the last 3 races, he's averaging 12.3 points per race and points per million, 2.55. So that is very, very nice from the Brazilian rookie. 3 points for a good price rise, 8 points for a great price rise. More than manageable for someone that scored 7, 24, 0 in Zandvoort, and then 13 points in Italy. The nice thing about Baku is it's tied for third fewest overtakes over the last 3 seasons in F1 Fantasy. And Bortoleto has been putting it consistently in Q3 since Austria at this point. So over the last 6 races, he's pretty much been appearing in Q3 almost every weekend. He's smoking Nico Hülkenberg in the qualifying department as well. So if we can get Bortoleto into the top 10, into Q3 again, and Sauber can pull off a strategy that works for them, despite not pitting Nico Hülkenberg at like the very end of the race or whatever they did. That was Zandvoort, I believe. So if they can get Bortoleto on a good strategy as well, we could be looking at another double-digit haul for him if he gets in Q3, finishes in the top 10, like nabs a couple of overtakes with like a tire advantage every now and then during the race. It could be another great weekend for Bortoleto. Eventually, like all F1 Fantasy Tier B assets, we are probably going to have to let him go when he gets a little bit too expensive. But with Baku and Singapore coming up and with his qualifying record in the last 6 races in F1 and F1 Fantasy, Bortoleto could be a good hold until we get to Coda, and then who knows, because that's a sprint weekend. So we could be looking at Bortoleto in our squads for a long time here, maybe getting him up into the 7 million price range and like just being quite happy with the Brazilian driver in our squad. So if you don't have him yet, I would highly suggest bringing him in because 8 points for a great price rise is more than doable for him, especially when you look at the last 3 races, 24 in Hungary and 13 in Italy. Moving on again to Isack Hadjar, the most recent new podium finisher in F1. I think that's how you would say that. 6.3 million, and he's in 63.4% of the global top 500, 16.3 points per race. That's obviously boosted by the 33 points he got at Zandvoort, 3.09 points per million over the last 3 as well. Quali average is 10th. Race finish is 8th over the last 3 races as well. And the French driver needs a DNF to get a great price rise. -27 for a good price rise, -22 for a great price rise. How are we going to turn that down? I know a lot of us are starting to pivot towards point scoring, but 0.6 million is a gift that I feel like we can't turn down. So if you are in the global top 500, or you're like me, I actually don't have Isack Hadjar. I was going to bring him in for the Italian Grand Prix for Gabriel Bortoleto. It felt a little bit too aggressive, a little bit of a sideways move, and it worked out because Bortoleto scored 1 more point than Hadjar, but I am definitely bringing him in for either Fernando Alonso or Carlos Sainz for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I don't have a lot to say here because it's just a DNF and he scores points. So as long as it's not, even if it's a disqualification, he's still going to get a good price rise. So that is pretty obscene for the French driver. So I think he will be in about 80% of teams by the end of the Baku Grand Prix lineup lock. Moving over here to Ollie Bearman, another rookie. However, he does have a slight advantage on Gabriel Bortoleto and Isack Hadjar in the fact that he has driven an F1 car around this track. He subbed in for Kevin Magnussen last year when K-Mag had his race ban. So he's 6.7 million in 2.8% of teams. 15 points per race over the last 2 races, 2.01 points per million. Needs -11 for a good price rise, -5 for a great price rise. So it feels more than doable for Ollie Bearman there. He's got some experience on this track. 27 points in the Netherlands, 3 points in Italy. And if you take out that DNF in Hungary, which was just like a car problem, 14, 14, 7, 23, 3, or 27 and 3 in his last 5 races outside of Hungary, pretty consistently getting it done, scoring positive points. So this feels like another easy transfer in for me. Ollie Bearman and Isack Hadjar for Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz have been talking about it since the team selection, so make sure you go back and watch that episode. And I don't know how long I'll have Ollie Bearman in my squad, but again, it feels like another easy 0.6 million rise to set myself up for Singapore. Those might be my only 2 transfers heading into the Singapore Grand Prix and leave myself enough money to maybe play a chip, like a final fix, later on in the weekend. Moving over to Alex Albon, I believe Rain Fantasy called him the new 4A light version, replacing Kimi Antonelli in those lineups that I was suggesting. So great job by you, Rain. I kind of love that. 12.4 million, 52.8% of the global top 500 have him. 18 points per race over the last 3 races. And look at that quality to race average. That is exactly what we want to see in F1 Fantasy. 16.3 quality average over the last 3, 9 in race position for the last 3. Needs -8 points for a good price rise, 3 points for a great price rise. And look at those last 5 races. Since he got over his like kind of mid-season slump there where he had like 3 DNFs in 4 races or something. Silverstone 12, Spa 14, Hungaroring 12, Zandvoort 27, and Monza 15. So Albon is getting it done while Williams is on this kind of like third quarter of the season surge. James Vowles in the summer break said that these 3 tracks coming out the summer break should suit the Williams car, and Alex Albon is taking advantage. 27 points in Zandvoort, 15 points in Monza. So hopefully we can get another big boost in Baku for Alexander Albon, where he did score points last year. Was slightly held by Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz crashing on the second to last lap, but you got to be in the right place at the right time in F1, and Alex Albon took advantage. So he's in 52.8% of the global top 500. A lot of people like him as they are building this kind of like 3A heavy, 4A light kind of version of their F1 fantasy squad, so they don't have to go all the way down to those back markers like Carlos Sainz, Pierre Gasly, Franco Colapinto, and Alex Albon is like, again, in the right place at the right time and on the right kind of trajectory for our F1 fantasy teams to be a major part moving forward. Max Verstappen is my last transfer target of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, but maybe not as a transfer in, more of just like a, could he do a Monza again and be a final fix candidate? 28.2 million, 3.6% of the global top 500 have him in their teams. 28.7 points per race over the last 3. That is actually second on the grid. That is ahead of Lando Norris and only trailing Oscar Piastri, 1.02 points per million. Qualifying 4th, finishing 4th on average over the last 3 as well is not bad at all, and 2 points for a good price rise and 27 points for a great price rise. He's hit 27 points in 3 of the last 4 races, so wouldn't be worried about that, and I definitely wouldn't be worried about it if you're on the final fix, because it won't really matter because you won't get the price rises no matter what. Just a reminder, if you use your final fix chip, you will get the points from that driver after the sessions that you activate the final fix chip, but you will just still get the price rise or price fall of the asset that you final fixed out for the asset that you brought in. Just as a reminder for anyone that has that question. So this is maybe a little bit like too little too late, JoJo, for those early 2000 fans. Let me know in the comments below if you get that reference. But it is something to consider. Are Red Bull getting this car in a little bit of a better operating window for Max Verstappen down the final 8 races of 2025 to kind of show him that they can be a serious contender for 2026? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Like, should Max Verstappen be on our radar as an actual transfer in, or even as a final fix candidate for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix? Going over to the final slide here, transfer target rankings. So I've ranked all 6 drivers here. So 1 is Hadjar, 2 is Albon, 3 is Bortoleto, 4 is Bearman, 5 is Verstappen, and 6 is Colapinto. Albon and Bortoleto are currently in my team, but I want Hadjar and Bearman in for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix as well. Max Verstappen is a final fixed candidate. And Colapinto, I put him on the transfer target rankings. I put him in the transfer targets episode more as like if you have to like break glass in case of emergency, but I would really try to avoid him at all costs. There is part of me that thinks like even though Colapinto has an easier route to a price rise, you're going to have to transfer him out for Singapore, probably. Like, you're not going to want him in there. So maybe it would just be worth going down to Pierre Gasly and, like, get some points, be okay with a 4.5 million asset. Like I said in the team selection video, going with Colapinto and Gasly scares me off of a 4A build as of this, like, kind of publishing of this video, just because it gives me deja vu to last season where I was kind of locked into Zhou Guanyu, Valtteri Bottas, and Logan Sargent. The only reason I was able to get out of that like kind of disaster class was because Franco Colapinto took over for Logan Sargent and started scoring points. And that allowed me a little bit more budget flexibility to change up my lineup a little bit. But going down and locking into two of those back markers when you're trying to almost get to like a triple McLaren with Ferrari build eventually is a little bit scary. And I don't know if I'm ready to go there yet. Maybe by Singapore, I'll be a little bit more like, okay, because we'll have like 3 free practices and yeah, but we'll discuss that in the Singapore Grand Prix team selection and transfer targets. But these are my transfer target rankings. Go over them one more time. Hadjar 1, Albon 2, Bortoleto 3, Bearman 4, Verstappen 5, and Colapinto 6. But that'll do it for today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my transfer target rankings. When you are watching this, I will be on vacation in Sardinia. So if you've ever been to Sardinia, hit me up in the comments for any recommendations. My coverage will be a little less intense on my X account and on this channel this weekend. I will have a final thoughts episode on Friday after free practice 1, free practice 2. Still working out the logistics of that. No deadline stream. And the cooldown room is up in the air, but I will let you guys know on my X account at F1 Fantasy U and whether that is going to happen or not. And then we'll have a couple of weeks until the Singapore Grand Prix. But like I said, if you are liking what you see in the F1 Fantasy Pole Position Garage, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video, especially if it's above or below 100 likes right now. Help me get to that 100 likes per video target. And if you are really enjoying what you're seeing, sign up for the Patreon or the YouTube membership to get early access to these videos, Discord access, and exclusive episodes for the remainder of the season, along with just kind of first in queue for the 2026 prize leagues that will be coming along. But that'll do it for this episode. Hopefully everything goes well for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We'll have driver interviews and free practices coming along over the next few days, and then my final thoughts episode on Friday evening. But once again, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you next time.